5 minutes. 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for Professor Gadget. Jim George is in the studio. Jim is, of course, the owner of American Cable Services here in Ocala, and he provides cable TV, I guess you call it, cable TV. And he'll answer your questions about not only that, but also technology in general. He is Professor Gadget for that very reason. Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning, Ocala.
I have a question for you. So,
you got it.
Yeah, I do. But I'll just first say good morning. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Nice weather. Did the lightning hit you yesterday?
It's a beautiful day in downtown Ocala. No, but it did rain, didn't it?
Did you have lightning where you were?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
What'd they say, like 3 inches of water fell?
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
That's a lot of rain.
It seemed like the storm was just hovering. It wasn't really going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And then when I looked at the Weather Channel, it actually showed that we were kind of the center of a big, gigantic circle that went as far north as like North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And as far south as whatever, the Keys or Cuba. And Ocala seemed to be right in the middle, so that storm cell, even though it wasn't big, instead of going to the left or to the right, was just kind of spinning because we were right in the middle of it. So
well, I knew I got wet yesterday. I can tell you that. That's all I can tell you. It rained.
And it was booming out there.
It was booming out there.
Do you get a lot of repair jobs after a lightning storm?
Sometimes we do, especially when they have an incident where there was a problem in their house, like a refrigerator is now bad or something. So that they want to know how to protect it, like closing the barn door after the horse is left.
Right.
So, but like Hugh did, you put a whole house surge protector in. It's not guaranteed 100% to stop everything.
Right.
But it'll stop up to 6,000 volts, of coming in on a surge, and about something they call it joules, like 25 joules of lightning damage. So, it'll keep the majority out. That one incident where it hits your house, there ain't nothing stopping that.
Yeah.
Take half your house out. But they do work, and they're inexpensive. They're not. Maybe a couple of $100 between the buying and the putting in. It's nothing.
The one thing I do when I'm home, which is usually not the case, I'm not usually home, but I usually unplug everything. Just take no chances. I even unhook the cable because I always think lightning can come through the cable.
It can come through the cable.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but the one thing I don't unplug, because you really can't, is your refrigerator. What are you going to do? Everything would thaw out. It would ruin everything in the refrigerator.
Well, they do, on my refrigerator and on my toaster oven, even though I have a whole house surge protector, I have a little mini surge protector behind each one. They're very inexpensive. They're under $10. GE makes them. A lot of different companies make them. You don't want to buy one at Harbor Freight or someplace like that. You want to go to, let me try and think, maybe a Home Depot. Or a Lowe's and get one, but you just if you got one a month, let's say they're $10, and you put one behind your TV, let's say one behind your refrigerator, then that would 85 to 95% keep voltage out and lightning out, and that way you don't have to unplug your refrigerator.
Really, a $10 item would protect.
Yeah, it's very small, very small item.
Well,
it's like a fuse, for lack of a better term, but it's not a fuse.
All right, so I have a question for you.
All right, here we go.
So we're going to be at a conference. We are going to have a 10 by 10 booth.
Yes.
And it will not have electricity. However, we can buy electricity. So I got the form here.
Yep.
The electrical services order form. How do you know how much electricity you're going to use? This is what it says. Between 0 and 500 watts will cost $55. Between 501 and 1,000 watts will be $62. It goes up from there. From 1,001 to 1,500 watts is $69. 1,501 watts to 2,000 watts will be $76.
Sure.
How do you know this? How do you know?
Well, you'd want the lowest one. So I assume you're just going to have some kind of. Well, tell me what you are going to have, and let's not do the assumption.
A CD, an MP3 player.
And that's it?
Yeah.
And lights.
Oh, and lights.
One of those fancy light things that go against the wall.
That's it. The lowest there is, because basically.
How do you know? I mean.
Well, if you look at, you probably don't have the spec sheet anymore. But when you bought this clock device, for instance, it will say 120 volts, and then it will say something like 500 milliamps, which is a half an amp, or it will say two amps.
Okay.
Right? So an amp and a watt, for a volt amp is 1 watt. So if it says 50 volt amps, that's 50 watts. And so for 500, that's a lot of devices you have to plug in.
Okay, so that answers the question of what I need. But I have a further question. Why do they price it this way? You don't. I mean, usually you don't know what you're going to need. Like at the end of the month, you get an electric bill. Now the same devices are used all month long as the other month, as last month, but some of them are used less or more. So I mean, wouldn't the amount of money that we owe them be directly resulting from how long we had it turned on?
Well, you're going to have a constant current, like you said, if you have your refrigerator turned on. But if you have a washer and dryer and you did more laundry this month than you did last, or if you had an electric stove and oven and you did more cooking this month than you did last, that's one of the differences.
So now here's another part to this. It says a 208 volt, one phase, 20 amp would be $85, and a 208 volt, three phase, 40 to 60 amps is $175. What the heck is that?
Well, there again, just about everything you will be bringing is 120 volts. A 220 or a 208. Let's assume there was at this show someone wanted to show off their air conditioning. You know, in other words, they have a...
Oh, they have to have an air conditioning demonstration.
Yeah.
Right.
So they want to plug in that 220 volt air conditioner. Well, they'd have to have that kind of voltage.
All right,
so that's why they're saying.
I gave you the sheet that I was reading from, because I don't even know that I understand it. But you answered the question practical answer.
The lowest there is.
Just the lowest. All right.
The lowest there is.
Let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Yes, good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
See, the other day I bought some night lights, a whole pack of night lights, and I bought the kind that they kind of go on automatic when it gets dark. What makes those things go on when it gets dark? I mean, you don't have to turn a switch, or what is there, like a little thing in there or something, like I don't know.
All right, Hugh, are you saying that you bought a bulb and you can screw the bulb into an outlet and it turns on automatically at night? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a night light, and the bulb is not really a bulb. It's a little thing.
Yeah, it's a photocell, but I'm just trying to figure out what it is. So where does it? Is it an outside device or an inside device?
No, it's for like in the hallway or in the bathroom. You know,
right.
A light at night. You know. When
it's a photocell, Hughes.
Automatically, when
yes.
If you turn the light on in the bathroom, it goes off, and you turn it back. You know, and it goes on. So what's the deal on that thing?
Yeah, it's just a little photocell, and as long as that light hits it, it's in the off position. As soon as light does not hit it, it goes on the on position, and since it's plugged in, like you're plugging it into electrical, wall socket or such, it will come on. Yeah.
Do those things last pretty long?
Forever. Literally forever.
Okay, and the bulb lasts. You don't really replace the bulb, right? It kind of like it's all one little unit.
If it's a one unit, you would not replace the bulb. If it's the type that you can screw in one of these clear little Christmas bulb type things, and if it has a screw base, then you can replace the light. And most of those lights are like 3 watts, but you can get up to a 15-watt bulb that will still turn on with that photocell.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, that'd be a little bit too much for like at night in like in a bathroom or a hallway. But
no, it's like if you had a situation.
It's kind of a neat little thing, you don't have to worry about turning it on and off. It takes care of itself. It's got its own little life,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, it looks like we are up against the first break of the show, so we'll take a little break right now. If you have a question for Jim, this is the time to call, 622-9622. You'll be on hold about 2 minutes, and then we'll get right to you. 622-WOCA. Jim George, Professor Gadget, continues when we come back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, it looks pretty much sunshine will mix with some clouds. We'll have a thunderstorm that'll spread from near the coast early in the day to further inland by the afternoon. Highs will range from 90 to 93, and it looks like any thunder shower will be around in the evening hours. It'll dissipate and turn out partly cloudy with lows in the mid to upper 70s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind. With a custom treatment plan that really works, I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779. Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's yours for scheduling events tailored to seniors with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs. And all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online. Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Jim George is here from American Cable Services, and during the break I learned that you are expanding the things that you offer the folks out there, and so just kind of repeat what you just told me.
Sure. So one of the things that we would like to do is if you have a computer problem in your either a laptop or a mini tower or whatever, a lot of times you got to call a tech and talk to him, and then you bring the item in and he'll work on it. What we'd like to start doing is we will go to you. So if you have a wireless internet problem, if you have an internet problem in your house where the printer no longer talks to the laptop or whatever, we'll come to you and we'll fix that problem for you in your home. You don't need to bring the item to us. And if for some reason we can't fix it at that visit, we will then take it ourselves, fix it, and bring it back the next day. So that's just something that was actually kind of forced on us. And we said, we might just want to do this.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, it's a really necessary service. Do you know how many times, I'm sure this happens to everybody, you get a message that shows up and you say, what is that supposed to mean, right?
Yep.
And then you say, does that mean I have a virus? Or like if it warns you that you have a virus, you say, is it really warning me, or is that itself a trick?
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah, a lot of those are tricks, and you can always get around them. It's like we've even thought about having a one-day school sometime, just free, and explain to people how you get around some of these viruses. You know how sometimes it'll lock your whole computer screen up?
Yeah.
And it'll say FBI warning and whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. And no matter what you do, it will not go away. Force your computer off. Just turn it off.
Are you talking about the ones where you have to send money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just turn your computer off.
Yeah.
And reboot it in about 1 minute. Just give it a little bit of time to actually die, and a lot of times that will go away. It's more of a gimmick than anything. It's locking up your computer while it's on.
Wow.
Now, are there other viruses that will come right back online as soon as you? Yes, they will. But I found that 9 times out of 10 it goes away.
Wow.
So there's little tricks, because it won't let you cancel it. It won't let you delete it. It won't let you do anything.
But the one thing you don't want to do is send them any money.
No.
Because that's what I had it happen to me one time where it was saying send some money, and I have a service with Best Buy.
Yes.
And I called the 800 number. The guy was able to do something through the internet or whatever. He
remotely,
was able to control my computer. We have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Jim.
Yes.
Yeah, how's that server doing?
Server's all done, ready to go.
Okay. My next question is the signal is, let's say I have the yellow thing on the bottom, on the right-hand corner. It shows, but it's like really weak. It goes away. It comes right back again.
Are you speaking about a laptop?
Yes.
It's on the bottom right-hand corner. You have a flashing yellow light?
No. It's just like staying there.
Okay, but is it part of the taskbar on the bottom, or is that a pop-up?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if it's part of that, just hover your mouse over it. You know, that little arrow? Hover over it, and it should come right up and tell you what it is. And if it doesn't, right-click your mouse, and it will probably tell you what it is. And you might say, oh, I know what that is. Yeah, I want that. Or you might say, I don't want that. And then you hit delete, and it goes away.
Oh, okay. I will try that.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Phone lines are open. If you want to call Jim, the number is 622-9622. And so you're expanding. Now, how many? We always speak to you, but I know that there's more than you over at your office. How many technicians do you actually have?
Right now we have two technicians, George, who you haven't met, but Tony, who came in here one day. I call him George and Tony because Tony's last name is like Tagliaro or something. These are two Italian boys.
Right. So are their names not George and Tony?
I'm getting into the mafia here.
Wait a minute. Yeah, right. You call them George and Tony because I'm thinking because those are their names?
Well, you know, like Tony, Anthony, you know.
Oh, I see. His real name is Anthony. Okay.
Yeah, so.
And George's real name?
Well, George's real name is George, but his last name is like Manganero.
Oh, so. In other words, you don't use their last name.
No, I don't even begin to pronounce them.
But they're tech guys. What have you?
They are. They're very good tech guys. So one is more of a programmer type guy,
right?
That can write programs and that such. The other one's more of a network guy. But between the two of them, there's hardly anything they can't fix.
Do you know? As long as I've been in radio, I've never really understood this. I understand how to increase the transmission signal. I don't understand the devices that say they can increase your reception signal, an amplifier to pull in stronger.
Right.
But they do exist.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and how? What do they actually do?
Well, it picks up the weak signal, regardless of where it's coming from, whether omnidirection or a line of sight. And then it has an amplifier, just how you can amplify the sound by turning the volume up. Well, you're basically increasing the voltage on the plate circuit of a tube or a transistor. In other words, you're forcing it to do more than what it's supposed to do. And that's the same way with TV signals or anything else. You just amplify the signal.
Did I tell you about the guy who, I think he was in Kentucky, and he sent us a short little video, and all the video showed was the front of his radio, and it looked like an expensive radio. But he's showing it to us because the audio coming out of that radio was us. Mm-hmm. And he specifically gave us the clip that said our call letters so that we would right. believe it's us. Okay. So, and of course, this is his hobby, is tuning into radio stations that are far away from him.
Yes, yes.
So for us to reach Kentucky is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, our signal is there, but unless you've paid a lot of money for a radio, you're not going to be able to hear us.
Well, audio never really stops. It just gets weaker, weaker, and weaker. So if you were on the moon right now, you could possibly tune in to, the 1370 on the AM dial.
Right.
But it would be so weak, so you have to amplify it. So how do you amplify it? The first thing you get is a larger antenna. We call them an array. because it's multiple antennas built into one antenna. Right. So that would increase that minus 100 signal to probably only a minus 40. And then you get an amplifier that amplifies by 100, and now you're plus 60. You see,
this would have been
it all the way up.
And this would have been so great in the 70s. But nowadays, I mean, I can listen to my favorite radio stations in New York and L.A. and Chicago by going online. They're right there.
Yeah.
I don't even
remember you had that comment about going back in the past. Do you realize that something that was broadcast yesterday or even 10 years ago is still in the air?
Somewhere out there, yeah.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah, yeah. We do have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Hey, good morning, Jim. Good morning, Larry.
Hiya, Joe.
Good morning.
I always like listening to y'all's show whenever I get a chance to, and I really don't believe Larry remembers anything from the 70s.
I don't. That's right. I don't.
Hey, it's a trivia question more than anything else for you, Jim. Did you ever work with Philo Farnsworth or any of his equipment?
I know Philo. I never worked with him, but I have a book he wrote that I had him autograph for me. It was a pamphlet, more or less, and he came to the Society of Cable Television Engineers Convention. I think it was about 8 or 10 years ago, just before he passed away, and that's where I was in a booth with him.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Very smart guy. This guy was unbelievable.
You know, he was born in Beaver, Utah.
Yeah.
At the birthplace of Butch Cassidy. But everybody goes there to see Butch Cassidy's house, and they got this little small statue to Philo at the courthouse, and that's it. And it's interesting story, but that's well done, Jim. Good to hear it. And I like y'all's tech stuff too. I got to get back. See y'all later.
All right, thank you,
Joe. All right, so if I pretend I know who he is, I'm going to guess. Is this the guy who invented television?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, that is a name we don't hear as often as we hear the...
Yeah, RCA and basically pushed him out of existence. In other words, they copied his patents, did a bunch of things, threatened him, and so he didn't get the credit due him.
Oh, my gosh.
But he was the inventor of TV.
That is so horrible. How would he have protected himself? Or he couldn't have, because the big guys were against him.
Smirnoff and a bunch of other big, powerful engineers at RCA and such, they had the clout. You know, it's a lot of times it's not what you know, it's who you know. Mm-hmm. And they had a bunch of patents of their own. And so when he brought out his patent for TV, they all challenged his patent and basically ridiculed him. But he is, as far as cable TV is concerned, the inventor of television.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, very smart guy.
And some programs are actually good enough to make it worth having one.
It is. His idea for inventing, if you read his little pamphlet, I need to find it and bring it in one day, was to bring education and knowledge to the masses. It wasn't entertainment. Mm-hmm. That wasn't his thesis. His thesis was, imagine a kid in a rural area. He doesn't have to go to school. He can stay home and go to school. Now we do it online. But his idea was you'd watch it on TV. You would see the instructor, you would see the whiteboard or the chalkboard, and that's how you would learn.
And we sort of kind of did that with some program, I guess, the educational channels, for example.
Yeah.
But we do, we take...
But there's so much trash on TV, it's unbelievable. But another man's trash, another man's, treasure, so...
He'd be disappointed right now if he was alive.
Yeah.
You think? I think he'd love going into Best Buy and seeing those big screen TVs.
Yeah, he would like that.
Where were we, Rob? What was that store we were in? Sam's Club.
Yeah.
I mean, they had really large TV screens.
Large ones.
I mean, like movie screen size.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're at the end here.
We are at the end.
There's your song coming. All right, so how do we get a hold of you? Remember, for the listeners, not only is the cable TV now, but if your computer's on the fritz, Jim and his guys will come out to help you.
Exactly. 854-9795.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great...
Computer on the fritz.
Computer on the fritz.
Something we don't like.
Get it off the fridge.
Thank you for the goodies.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thank you. All right, we'll take a little break. Rodney Eccles is coming up next. He's a talk show host, just like us, but more famous. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. A federal judge determines Hillary Clinton did not comply with government policy in her personal email account while she was Secretary of State.
U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan directed the State Department to work with the FBI to determine if any of the former Secretary of State's old emails can be recovered from her private server. The order came during a hearing that was part of a Freedom of Information